This is Edward. Edward is non-competitive, intuitive, and loves driving. When on the road, he enjoys drifting tight corners and going fast down straight roads, but doesn't do it to come first. He doesn't care about the theoretical study or the optimal routes, but he enjoys the experience of driving and hanging out with his closest friends. Edward is you, and you are in for a wild ride. For those who are unfamiliar with the game, Inertial Drift is a fast-paced arcade racing game created by Level 91 for fans of retro arcade racers. With an intuitive twin-stick control scheme, you are able to steer regularly with the left stick, but swing out the back of the car and enter a drift with the right. This allows for high-speed drifts around tight corners to keep the energy high throughout every moment of the race. But today, I'm not here to talk about controls, although it could be a video premise in its own right. Today, I want to talk about the one thing Inertial Drift has managed to do better than any other arcade racer I've played, and that brings us back to Edward. As Edward, you drive along different race types on a track before unlocking a new location. These can be time attacks, ghost battles, and head-to-head races. Between these races, you're gifted with more dialogue and characterization of Edward and the other characters that exist in this story. By succeeding with Edward, we see his natural gifts in drifting, with a little help from his friends, leading him to win more races. He might be here for fun, but winning still feels good. Edward starts to consider putting in more effort to improve and become a more competitive racer, which isn't why he signed up for the trip, but the influence of his more grind culture friends lead him to believe he'd be wasting his talents if he didn't put in the work. However, after some time, this becomes a problem, as friends like Iba, who want Edward to succeed, start pushing him further to study, practice, and hone his skills. But Edward does not enjoy this. He came along to have some fun with his friends, not to study tracks and compete. And the stress at this point is making Edward consider quitting racing altogether. However, in an earlier section, a character called Samira introduces Edward to a different type of challenge called Style Mode, where the point isn't to go fast, but to enjoy the ride and show off cool drifts in the process. This type of challenge resonates with Edward, and in his peak moment of stress, he ditches the hard work others want him to do and does some style mode driving with his friend Esme, where he describes it as no rules, no pressure. This level is probably the most enjoyable part in Edward's story, as both you and Edward get a moment to relax and try a more fun approach to driving. You follow along Esme's driving in the front in a way that feels more intimate and more beautiful than any racing game is able to express. This is what Inertial Drift has managed to do better than any other racing game I've played. It has sprinkled in characters and storylines in a way that isn't too distracting from the core gameplay, but has elevated the story further by having race modes relate to the characters' feelings in the moment. The feeling of doing the mechanical tango in perfect harmony with Esme is reinvigorating, showing that being the best isn't the only way to drive, but having fun is equally as valid and rewarding as an experience than success. This message resonated with me in a way I was not expecting when I first sat down to play. In the majority of my hobbies and activities, whether it be at school, university, or now working full time, the pressure to constantly become better and to put in more work has always been present. Even when making YouTube videos for fun, I find myself becoming ultra competitive, researching and planning ways of making the perfect SEO friendly video and making what is supposed to be a fun hobby into another stressful grind. Without putting words in their mouths, I can see how this ethos of no rules, no pressure can relate to the game creators at Level 91, as this is their first title released by the studio. And from my limited experience in the gaming industry, I know that the grind culture Edward's story highlights is a pitfall that many studios, both new and old, encounter often. The gift of having friends and peers who understand that no rules, no pressure is a valid way to experience a hobby and see that grinding your way to the top is more damaging than helpful allows you to take things at your own pace and find what you're passionate about, not what will make you most successful. So if you take anything from this video, I want you to enjoy the little things. Enjoy being bad at something. Enjoy going on long drives that go nowhere. Enjoy hanging out with your friends till the early hours of the morning. And most of all, enjoy Inertial Drift. Thank you.